You're born a girl in 7th century China, a world where your worth is measured in beauty, obedience, and silence. Your future is simple. Be pleasing. Be quiet. Be forgettable. But now imagine that same girl refusing every rule written for her. Imagine her climbing from the lowest ranks of the palace, outmaneuvering princes, ministers, and rival empresses, and rising so high that she overthrows an empire, builds her own dynasty, and rules one of the most powerful nations on earth. This isn't fiction. This is the story of Wu Zetian. Not just an empress, not a footnote, but China's only female emperor, a woman whose power shook the world. In this video, we're following her entire journey, from teenage concubine to the true power behind the throne, to emperor in her own right, to a legend that later historians tried to erase or twist into a nightmare. By the end, you'll face the question history still can't answer. Was she a monster or a mastermind? Let's go back to the Tang Dynasty. China, 7th century. The Tang Dynasty is one of the most brilliant ages in Chinese history. The capital city, Chang'an, is a massive, bustling supercity, one of the largest in the world. Caravans come in from Central Asia. Scholars debate poetry. Monks bring in new ideas along the Silk Road. But under all that glitter, the rules are strict. Society is run by powerful clans and male officials. Women from elite families can be educated and influential at home, but they do not rule. Emperor is a man's title. A woman's role is to support him from the shadows. Into this world, around the year 624, a girl is born, Wu Zhou, later known as Wu Zetian. Her family is wealthy, connected, and ambitious. Her father is involved in government. Her mother comes from an influential clan. Unlike most girls, Wu Zhou grows up with time and resources, servants to handle chores, and space for books and learning. While other girls are taught only how to be good wives, Wu Zhou reads, writes, and listens. She watches her father deal with officials. She learns how the system works. She's not just pretty, she's paying attention. In her early teens, she's sent to the imperial palace as a concubine to Emperor Taizong. Inside the palace, she becomes Wu Mei, glamorous Wu. She's low-ranking, not the emperor's favorite. But she finds a different path to power. She becomes a sort of secretary, handling documents and paperwork. Day after day, she sees reports, petitions, edicts. While others are busy fighting over the emperor's bed, she's studying the machinery of the empire. She's a teenager learning how a superpower runs, line by line, seal by seal. Then, everything changes.
Emperor Taizong dies.
According to tradition, childless concubines like Wu are sent to a Buddhist convent. Once they put on those robes, their political life is basically over. Wu is sent away. Her head is shaved. She's supposed to spend the rest of her life chanting scriptures, far from the center of power. Story over, right? Not even close. Taizong's son takes the throne as Emperor Gaozong. Before he became emperor, he had already noticed Wu Mei at court. There were rumors of a connection, maybe even a secret affair. Now he's emperor, with a proper wife, Empress Wang, and a powerful favorite, consort Zhou. But he still remembers Wu. One day, Gaozong visits the convent. He sees her again, no longer dressed in silk, but he hasn't forgotten her face. Neither of them has forgotten the palace. Soon after, Wu is brought back from the convent to the palace, this time as Gaozong's concubine. So yes, she was first the father's concubine, and then the son's. Scandalous? Absolutely. But this is just the warm-up. Wu is now back in the palace game, and this time, she knows exactly how the system works. Inside the palace, the real battle isn't on the battlefield, it's in the women's quarters. On paper, Empress Wang holds the top title. In reality, she's politically weak and has no children. Consort Zhou has more favor. Wu starts lower in rank, but she has something neither of them has. A combination of charisma, intelligence, and absolute willingness to do what others won't. She moves carefully, gains Gaozong's trust, has children with him. Every child she bears ties him closer to her. Then comes one of the darkest and most controversial stories in her biography. Wu gives birth to a baby girl. Sometime after, the child dies in the palace. Later historians claim that Wu herself strangled her own baby, then blamed Empress Wang, knowing the emperor would believe her. We don't know if that's true. The sources were written by people who hated her. But we do know what happened next. Gaozong is furious. He believes Wu. Empress Wang and consort Zhou are accused, stripped of their titles, and eventually imprisoned and killed. Wu steps into the vacuum. She becomes Empress Wu, the emperor's official wife and highest woman in the realm. From a low-ranking concubine to empress of the Tang Dynasty, one move closer to the throne. As empress, Wu is not content to just smile and stand next to her husband. Emperor Gaozong is often ill, plagued by headaches and weakness. But the empire still needs decisions. Documents still need signatures. Officials still need direction. Slowly, Wu steps in. She starts attending meetings. She weighs in on politics. She drafts and approves edicts. Eventually, the two begin ruling together so openly that they're referred to as the two sages, a not-so-subtle admission that this is a two-person government. Under their joint rule, big changes happen. The imperial exam system is expanded so that more talented men, not just sons of nobility, can enter government by passing intense examinations. This chips away at the power of the old aristocratic families and strengthens the central state. Wu also supports Buddhism, funding huge temples and projects. Buddhism, unlike strict Confucianism, gives her more ideological room to rule. Buddhist texts and monks can argue that a wise ruler, even a woman, can be divinely chosen. At the same time, she is ruthless with threats. Rival princes, powerful ministers, and anyone who might challenge her children's future are watched closely. Accusations of treason start to appear. Some political enemies are exiled. Others are forced to commit suicide. If you were on her hit list, mercy was not guaranteed. But if you were talented and from a lower status background, Wu might be your greatest opportunity. To the aristocrats, she's terrifying. To ambitious outsiders, she's a door that was never opened before. Then Gaozong dies. Officially, their son Li Zhou becomes Emperor Zhongzong. In practice, Wu, now Empress Dowager, the emperor's mother, is still in control. At first, Zhongzong seems like he might actually try to rule. He makes appointments, tries to reward people he likes. Wu does not approve. Within a very short time, she deposes her own son, strips him of power, and installs another son, Ruizong, as a more obedient emperor. Now, everyone understands. The man on the throne is just a front. Wu is the real power. To keep her grip, she develops a feared secret police system and encourages officials to report on each other. Whispers of conspiracy can lead to interrogation, torture, or death. Court life becomes a high-stress survival game. To later Confucian historians, this was a reign of terror. But the state didn't collapse. Far from it. The bureaucracy kept functioning. Borders held. The economy continued to grow. China was still a powerhouse, and the person at the center of it was a woman who technically was not supposed to rule at all. Then, in the year 690, Wu does something no woman in Chinese history had ever done. She drops the act. She doesn't just rule behind the scenes. She takes the throne herself. She forces Emperor Ruizong to step aside and proclaims herself emperor, not empress, of a new dynasty she calls the Zhou. Let that sink in. In a world where the word emperor is automatically male, Wu Zetian rewrites the script and places herself at the top. Of course, she needs more than confidence. She needs legitimacy. Confucian scholars are shocked. Many oppose her. So Wu looks to Buddhism. Supportive monks promote texts and prophecies suggesting that a great ruler, sometimes even framed as a future Buddha, is destined to appear, and Wu positions herself as that chosen one. She pours money into Buddhist sites, including the famous Longmen grottos, where massive cliffside Buddhas are carved into stone. Some scholars think one of the grand statues may have been subtly modeled on her, merging imperial power with sacred image. It's political branding on a monumental scale. From the throne, Her style of rule is a mix of iron fist and sharp reforms. She continues expanding the exam system, pulling more talent from across the empire. She weakens big clans who might rise against her. She supports agriculture, infrastructure, and trade. Foreign envoys still come, bowing to her at court. Neighboring states deal with her as a serious imperial power. Even as critics describe her as cruel and manipulative, she's presiding over a functioning, sometimes thriving, state. But no reign lasts forever. By her 70s, Wu Zetian is aging. She's ruled longer than many male emperors. Her body is weaker, and the palace is full of tension. Into this environment come the Zhou brothers, handsome young courtiers who become her close companions and, according to many accounts, her lovers. Her enemies are horrified. To them, this is proof she's immoral and out of control.
To them, this is their chance.
The old Tang aristocrats and sideline princes begin plotting a comeback. In 705, a group of officials and princes stage a palace coup. They move against the Zhou brothers, have them killed, and surround the aging Wu. Faced with overwhelming force and poor health, she's forced to abdicate the throne. Her son, the earlier deposed Zhou, is brought back as emperor. The Tang Dynasty is officially restored. Wu Zetian is now just a retired former emperor. Later that year, she died. The Tang rulers and Confucian historians get to work reshaping the story. In the official histories written afterward, Wu Zetian is painted as the ultimate warning sign. They call her a usurper, a murderer, a woman who violated the natural order. They emphasize every purge, every execution, every scandalous rumor. Did she have people killed? Yes. Did she use spies and fear? Yes. Did male rulers also do those things? Very often, yes. But Wu becomes a special symbol of what happens when a woman climbs too high. Yet her most powerful legacy is not in those books. It's in stone. Wu Zetian is buried beside Emperor Gaozong at Qianling Mausoleum. Before her tomb stands the wordless stele, a massive monument with no inscription. While other emperors carve their greatness into stone, hers is intentionally blank. Some say Wu chose silence so history could judge her. Others say her enemies erased her legacy. Either way, the empty stele becomes the most dramatic statement of all. For centuries, scholars argue over who she was. Modern historians now re-examine her reign. She promoted talent over birth, improved the exam system, strengthened the state, and supported ordinary people. But she also used fear, executions, and political purges to stay in power. Her story becomes a battlefield of interpretations. So, who is Wu Zetian? A ruthless dictator? A visionary who broke the system and opened doors for talent? A political genius punished by history for being a woman who won? Maybe she was all of these at once. Now it's your turn, villain, visionary, or something in between. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the wild politics of ancient China, hit like, share this video, and subscribe for more stories that make the past feel like a TV series. Thanks for watching.